fear, shock, joy, plans, anticipation, pain, loss, devastation, anger, betrayal, sadness, shame, confusion, loneliness, doubt, strength, hope, loss, hope again, loss again, and again. My name's Megan, and those words are just a glimpse into the physical and emotional roller coaster that I experienced in my personal journey in becoming a mother. And I've created this film and included other women who have experienced this type of pregnancy and infant loss to show that there is no small number of us. We are 1 in 4. I've asked these women if they could go back and give themselves any advice during that time. What would it be? Or to someone experiencing this right now, what would they tell them? Everyone grieves differently. Advice that works for some may not work for everyone, but our goal in creating this and sharing these small parts of our emotional journey is to continue decreasing the stigma of this topic. I have experienced 3 losses.
In the past 2 years, I have had a total of 3 miscarriages.
I've experienced 2 losses.
I've had 1 loss, my baby Selah.
I have had 2 miscarriages.
I have been through 2 miscarriages.
I have had 1 loss.
I've experienced 1 pregnancy loss.
I have had 1 loss.
I have had 2 losses.
I have suffered 1 loss.
I have experienced 1 loss.
I have experienced 3 consecutive miscarriages.
My husband and I have experienced a few losses. The greatest one was in March of 2020 when we lost our baby girl Emma to stillbirth at just past 20 weeks.
I was blessed to carry a baby that we named Baby P for 10 and a half weeks.
I've experienced 1 loss. That's why I wear this little necklace. This was supposed to be the baby's due date month.
I've experienced the loss of 1 baby, miscarried at 9 weeks, as well as years of infertility.
I have experienced 1 loss, the loss of my first son at 17 weeks.
I've experienced 1 loss.
I have experienced a pregnancy loss.
I have experienced 1 loss.
I have had 4 losses.
I had a miscarriage.
I have lost 5 babies.
A miscarriage is unfortunately much more common than what we think. That truly 1 in 4 women do experience a miscarriage in their life.
Almost 10 years ago, I did not know that I was 1 in 4.
During that time, for me, it was lonely, and I had a lot of support from my family and friends, but I still felt very much alone.
You know, when I think back to all the moments of all those miscarriages, I definitely have, still could feel a lot of grief, sadness, disbelief, anger at times, you know, especially I felt like I've gone through so many challenges in my life as an Afro-Latino woman, overcoming a lot of adversity and thinking this shouldn't happen to me.
Yeah, I think I had felt so much shame and just, I don't know, I felt weird sometimes being sad or just feeling a certain way, but just knowing like it's okay to grieve 2 years later, like a month later, like whenever, just let yourself actually feel what you're feeling and to go through it and just know like it's okay.
If I could go back and give myself advice or give advice to women that are going through this or have gone through a miscarriage, I would first and foremost tell you that you are not alone. I have come to have multiple women reach out to me that I never knew had a miscarriage and that lost babies, and they told me their story and gave me reassurance that I was not alone. So I do want to reiterate that you are not alone.
If I could go back and tell myself anything, it would be that this is one of the hardest things that you're going to go through. It's okay to find safe people to share your story with. And when you do, you will find so many others who have been in your shoes, and they will take care of you.
There will be good days and there will be bad days. There'll be bright days and there'll be dark days.
It's okay to not be okay.
Grief is going to come, and it's going to come in waves. There will be a huge wave at the beginning where it feels like it may crush you. That wave will slowly slow down. There will be little ones on and off for the rest of your life.
In the middle of that situation, you don't feel like you will ever get out of that darkness. Sometimes your next breath feels too painful. Sometimes you don't want to get out of bed.
Don't be ashamed to reach out to people. Have someone there to relate to you like no one else can. Is just invaluable. And I would encourage anyone to share your story with a community that's safe.
It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. That it doesn't matter how far along you are, that a loss is a loss.
If I could go back and tell myself something, it would be, you don't have to do this alone.
Share some encouragement that a friend gave me at the time when I was deep with loss, and it was a precious song called Glory Baby by a group called Watermark. I couldn't listen to it right away, but when I did, I knew that God had a hold of my baby and that someday I would see that baby again.
It's okay to grieve in the way that you need to, and to take the time to do so, as well as to grieve that infertility.
I would encourage you to grieve however you need to. For me, I think the best way of grieving was to surround myself with family and friends, and even to this day, I discuss my losses. That may not be how it is for every woman, but for me, that was the easiest way for me to process everything that I had gone through and to grieve. You know, we never move on from our losses. When the anniversary is up, my babies come up, I still think about it every single year. And it's still hard on those days when, you know, my baby would have been 1, or my baby would have been born, or we would have been close to getting to this milestone. You know, you never let those things go. And you don't move on. You just have to keep moving forward.
And I would say to any woman going through it, of course, it's not easy. And even when I reflect back on that time, I can have a lot of grief and sorrow and pain. But, you know, over time, that pain does manifest itself in different ways. And what I try to do is to reach out to other moms who are also experiencing loss and to be there for them with a listening ear and with compassion and with sympathy.
Feel the pain, grieve, talk about it, allow people to help you.
To anyone walking through this now, I would just want to say, don't let anyone else tell you what your grief should look like.
Let yourself be surrounded by the community that loves you. Just know that God is big enough to handle your anger.
You don't forget, but you will eventually get through it. Things will get better, and the pain will lessen.
If I could go back and tell myself something back then, I would tell myself it's okay to grieve.
If I could go back and tell myself anything, it would be that I am so loved. My baby is loved and remembered.
That she has not done anything wrong and that she did not cause this to happen.
Also, it's okay if you don't feel anything. It's okay if you aren't really that affected by it. Because I think some people also have struggled with that, just knowing like they don't feel that sad about it. And it's okay. Like I feel like there's just so many different experiences that women have, and whatever you're feeling is okay.
Don't be afraid to talk to people about it, and don't give up.
I'm constantly amazed at what things that will bring grief back to mind. something small or something unexpected sometimes, but it's just a continual up and down. And I think at first that sounded really scary. And now there are times when the grief comes in and I'm able to hold it at the same time as joy, because I get to remember our daughter and I get to think of her. And while it's hard that she is not here, there's beauty in remembering her, and there's beauty in feeling the weight of her.
Just something encouraging that I would say is to just to know it's okay to talk to other people about your baby, to still have days that you're sad about it.
You will get through this.
This is not the end. This is not the last bit of the story.
All of your emotions are valid. Your longing is beautiful, and you are brave.
Really lean into hope. The Lord is near, and that He heals our broken hearts.
I remember someone telling me the light will come back. It doesn't feel like it right now, and that is true. But it does come back. The light will come back, whether it's in the form of healing, whether it's in the form of beauty from ashes, whether it's through a rainbow baby.
You are strong. You will survive. You will always love the ones you lost.
You're not weak. You're strong. And it's okay to be sad.
I promise you will get through this, and you will be stronger, and you will be able to help other people on the other side of it.
Just let yourself feel what you're feeling and just give yourself grace, and just know that you're so strong. Women are so strong.
That there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It may appear dim and it may be hard to see right now, but it is there and you will get there. Stay strong.
If anyone out there is watching this, we just hope that in hearing these bits and pieces of all these different women's journeys, that you feel seen and you feel less isolated, and just know that you are not alone and that there are people here to listen and to support you.